There are a number of ways of doing this enclosure. The most popular one is to download the files necessary to 3D print it. Everlanders, I think, are the leaders in that, or at least they have a very popular YouTube channel, and a lot of people use their 3D printed model to print the base of the Starlink dish. I believe it prints it in 4 pieces, and you have to glue the 4 pieces together. It produces them at an angle, or the dish is at an angle so that it shades rain and that sort of thing. And it's quite a nice approach. Here in the UK, those land for anywhere between $100 and $200 or $300, probably £100 to £300, that is. And it's quite a good, simple way of doing it, but it's a relatively expensive way of doing it, I think. And what you land up with is something that is reasonably bulky. So fine to put onto an RV and forget about, but probably not fine if you want it to be truly portable and easy to move around. So hence these. So this is an idea that a gentleman in the UK came up with. So I believe his name is Dave Beverley. I know his first name is definitely Dave. I think it's Dave Beverley. He's on the Motorhome Fun forum, so motorhomefun.co.uk, as Mr. B. And he's quite active there and has helped quite a lot of folk with some really good info on there. And so this is his brainwave, so I'm not taking any credit for it. I'm simply copying what he did. So what I've done is I've made this form. So this is the exact dimension, exact size of Dishy. If I was to put Dishy over here, you see it's exactly this size. And I've built up just in the corners because we need to bend the corners really nicely. So let's put that down. Here we have, I'm not sure what this is. It's like a skirting thing. It's basically poly or plastic, a plastic strip. I know that Dave had said in private correspondence, he'd said that he wanted to try and make it actually thinner because he doesn't have any sockets or anything like that. But we're planning to put some sockets into here. So I did want this. I think this is the 45mm one, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Yep, this is the 45mm, and this will be sufficient for us to mount Dishy into, and then have some gubbins in here, so like the Wagos and the capacitor and things like that. And it will enable us on the outside to have sockets for power in and also the internet connection. So let's have a look at how easy it is going to be to do this. So the idea is this has a square edge which we're going to make the bottom, and then this slightly rounded edge. The first thing I'm going to do is take this cover off because it's going to interfere with the process of heating it and bending it. Let's just get rid of the whole thing. And we're left with this. And I'm going to see just how easy it is to take this. I think I'm going to start over here and bend it around with a heat gun. So we're going to see how easy it is to make this. So that is our first corner. It appears to have gone quite well. It's back on there. Going to put a clamp over here now. Right, I think this has worked quite well. I'm going to cut this off here, then we'll glue these two together, not expecting them to stick really well. But what we'll do is we'll cut a strip that we'll glue on the outside, and that'll keep it nicely together. So we're going to put Dishy onto here nice and flat, and then we're going to put this over, and then we'll put Sikaflex on the inside so that it can set really well. My only unknown in this, and my only concern, is how well UV stabilized this stuff is and how fast it'll erode in the sun and disappear. So what we might do when this is all said and done, we might just rough this up a little bit and spray paint it with something just to keep it from going too quickly in the sun, because I suspect this won't last more than a few years in the sun. I might be wrong, maybe it is UV stabilized, but I doubt it. So a few days later, and the weather has warmed up finally, so my bees will be working. But anyway, I have done quite a lot on this sort of experimental stuff and just seeing which way works best. So let me take you through it. Let's do a nice close-up and I'll take you through what I've done here. So firstly, the surround, or the structure that it's Sikaflex to or Sikaflex to. You can see I've got a really strong bead of Sikaflex all around to get it to be waterproof. One of the regrets is that I actually put this on the outside of the entire dish, so when I try to seal this side, as you can see, it's become quite messy. I mean, it's functional, works absolutely fine. It's just a little bit messy and untidy looking. A lot of other guys have got it way neater than this. Dave Beverly on Motorhome Fun has got his that goes in the groove, so this little dark surround is still all nice and intact. His is really neat looking, much neater than mine, so maybe you should get him to show you. But anyway, it's perfectly functional, it's completely waterproof. So what I've done here, as you can see, I've got this is my RJ45 socket, which has got these sort of waterproof things that you can use to get your cable nice and tidy and completely waterproof. This one here is an SAE connector, so that's this kind of plug here, and so that's how we apply power into the dish. If I take you through inside here, everything nice and carefully. So for our power, we have that coming in on this SAE connector, and I'm coming into two different of these Wagos, 3-way Wagos, and as you can see in the middle I've got the capacitor, and then in the center ones I've got the power going to the dish here, and the outside is where the power actually comes through. On here, as we've seen before, that's positive soldered on there, and the negative can bridge all of those if you want to, that's fine. So that's where the negative is. As far as the networking is concerned, I've used the original cable that plugs in here, so that's plugged in there, and it comes through to this very easy to use RJ45 adapter. I don't know what you actually call it, but anyway, it's really easy to use. And I did it this way just in case I needed to fiddle around and make changes if I got the mapping wrong, because there's a bit of stuff around the crossover when you're doing the Power over Ethernet injection, but it is not necessary when you use a simpler one. So this is the B standard. This is working really well. It's cycloflexed onto this, whatever this shroud is here, and so is this. So that's nice and completely secure. What I've also done, just for interest, because I want this to be quite waterproof, I've used this acrylic conformal coating, and this is basically like varnish really, and I've sprayed the entire inside. If you can see, this is really shiny. It's in theory you could pour water on this part and just let it rush off, and it's not going to touch any of the electronics. It was a bit tricky getting into some of this stuff here, so I've sprayed a bit in around here and there, and even the cables you can see are shiny from this stuff. So nothing is affected. It all works perfectly. It's in theory it's all nicely waterproof, and it'll just reduce, if there is some sort of water ingress, reduce the chances that something could be damaged. So this is our Dishi nearly complete. The last thing that we'll do, we've got a bit of backing here. I meant to get white, but somehow the thing was on black, so I've got this black sheeting, sort of perspex sheeting, and this is going to go I'll round the corners off a little bit, but basically I'm going to cycloflex this onto here all the way around, cycloflex it nicely so that it is completely enclosed, and this will be a pretty lightweight, easy thing to travel around with. If I could just mention the routers, we tried this router. This is the GL iNet sort of good life router, wireless access point, and it works fine. It's great, but it uses USB-C, and it uses a fair amount of current. The whole thing, when it's just on standby, uses about 3 to 4 amps, and when you're actually using, say you do a speed test, it's going up to 4 or 5 amps in total. That's how much is used, which is not bad actually. It's pretty good, that impressive. So this works really well, this GL iNet router. I've been looking at this one just because it runs off standard USB rather than USB-C, so in theory lower current. It only offers 2.4 rather than 2.4 and 5, so it's not dual band, single band with a little Ethernet plug. Haven't managed to configure it to run properly yet. As soon as you plug it into the dish, it thinks it's just an extender of an existing Wi-Fi network and then does some funny things. So I still need to get this thing configured. What I'll do with this is simply, because I've got a long extension, I'll just use this connector, coupler, whatever you call it, and that should work fine. So yeah, there we are. The Dishi is ready to take on a long trip. So in this one we'll be going to Arnhem Land in Australia, and have to be connected for a few reasons, and so this is literally going in my luggage to Australia, and it's going to be really interesting to see how well it performs. And we'll have a camp of about 6 or 7 of us, and I guess everybody will want to phone home every day just to check how things are with the families and that. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully it's useful. If you have any questions, then reach out to us. But basically this has been a very successful project. As I said, just one regret, not massive but reasonable regret, but everything went pretty smoothly right from the start. Our networking worked like a dream. Everything just simply worked, and I'm really pleased. So we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.